Hi there. We are back with another episode of The Hot Accounts. I am Melissa Barker. This is my partner, Liz Mason, and we are the co-owners of High Rock Accounting. Today we have with us Nate Thompson from Level Up Fitness.
Hi.
So Nate, tell us about Level Up.
Okay, well, Level Up Fitness is a small fitness and wellness company. We also offer massage and rehabilitative and corrective exercise therapy. Been in business as this company since 2010, but worked for a gym in Germany 10 years prior to that also, that was also called Level Up.
So you're just saying you're old.
Yes.
Perfect. There's that. Are you ready for a salsa roulette?
I don't think you can possibly be ready for salsa roulette.
Well, when you're ready, spin.
All right, here we go. Not you. Like I said, not you. So we'll take this.
Eventually we're going to get there.
We're going to get to it. Well. All right.
What do we decide? Is it better to front load or back
load? Hold on. Is this adequately dipped? Like what?
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Alright. You ready?
Yep.
Can you do this?
I can do it.
Cheers, guys.
Okay.
Cheers.
That was a spicy one. Mm-hmm. That one's got a nice little spice to it.
Mm-hmm.
Tangy.
Mm-hmm. Got some good heat.
Afterburn.
Yes, but mostly tangy.
It's pretty warm.
Alright.
Okay.
Hey, what do you do in haiku?
What do I do in haiku?
Yes.
Am I allowed to cheat and count?
I guess.
Okay. We pick up heavy things.
Sorry, continue.
This one's pretty spicy, actually.
The afterburn.
Stop trying to distract me.
Afterburn.
We pick up heavy things. Blissfully, winter winds not stopping. Our force. Produced while increasing our health.
I'm gonna
All right.
accept it.
I'll accept
It's
that.
acceptable.
Well, I wanted to add some nature element to it because
Well,
haikus are supposed to.
blissfully is not one syllable. Blissfully. So you were already there without the force. But that's
Oh,
okay.
well-
I won't be pedantic. You can continue.
No. If we have to redo it, we'll redo it.
No, it's okay. We'll approve that.
We got another roulette coming.
Yeah.
We
No,
pick up
enjoy.
heavy things. Yeah, I like that. It's a good way to start a day.
Well, I was
Sorry,
thinking
Dave.
words and not syllables. That's why I broke down.
I understand.
Yeah, well, I'm just a big dumb meathead. All right, Melissa, which ones do you think I should take?
I think you should determine your own fate, Nate.
I'm going to just go orange.
All right.
Get the nasty crap out of the way faster.
Oh, this one was
These chips
fun.
are too big for me. Too big for my mouth. Yeah, and we went there.
All right.
Right?
Oh, I like this one better.
That one's good. I know exactly what
It's like
one
a
that
little
is.
habanero-y kind of thing. Mmm.
That one's good
I like
on
that.
other things as well.
I like that.
Got a little
I
kick to it
actually
still.
like that one.
That one actually makes my teeth hurt a little bit.
No.
It's got a good
I'm
kick
still
to
doing
it.
pretty good. I like that. That one I honestly like. I want to know which one that was afterwards. You know what? I still have not taken any milk yet.
Okay.
I probably will drink a whole ton of it when we're done.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Right now I'm good.
I would like to know,
Yes.
do you have advice for small businesses that are mostly cash businesses?
Get a good financial advisor. I mean, for any small business, particularly if you're not already somehow in the financial industry or somehow in sort of software techy thing where you're already working in, like, say, the financial sector or what would be something that's related directly into that. Again, coming from the fitness industry is a different point. For me, it would be burning the candle on both ends where I had to try to pay my bills at home, pay my bills for the gym, and at the same time provide an excellent fitness service to my clientele. It's just not within my regular skill set to take care of both those things, so let's get a financial advisor, somebody who can help organize how you pay and do what you do.
Be a little
No,
fitting.
I breathed in a little piece.
It's in. It's getting a little warm in here.
Oh, it's nice. I like it.
I've got a steady burn going.
No,
I
but
do
it's,
too.
but it's not uncomfortable yet.
Well,
It's not comfortable either.
it's really
see, here we go.
comfortable. I'm really enjoying the burning in my
I'm
ears.
not having sorry. Nope, not there yet.
I like not being able to touch my teeth with my tongue. That's great. Awesome.
I enjoy it so much.
Oh yeah, that was a bad idea.
All right.
Here we go, kids.
Whatever you do, don't
My eyes
accidentally.
are watering.
Yeah, whatever you do, don't accidentally get in your eyes.
I got a
I
little
did
bit
that
of
the first time we filmed this.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
All right, go for it.
That one's tasty.
That one's also very good.
Very nice.
Very tasty. I really appreciate that.
That's pretty good. I gotta grab
We
a
have that
tissue.
one
I
again.
am.
You gotta pass that one back.
Yep.
I think it was this one.
Yep. No, it was not. This is the one we did not like as much.
I'm sorry. I almost tried to kill Nate.
I'm going for some avocado.
I'm gonna have you dish some of that onto this with it because I think that's gonna.
Now
be
we're just making a meal for Nate.
pretty much.
This was not the.
Well, to maintain
Oh,
this
they're
muscle
so
mass,
good.
he has to eat like twice as much as I
Oh,
do.
That
that's
is
so
true.
good.
Will you avocado me?
Yeah.
Mmm.
Fresh avocado.
Fresh avocado. Yes.
Oh, I love that. I need to know what that one is when we're done.
Okay.
Mmm.
We'll figure it
So
out.
good.
All right. What are some occupational hazards that you've encountered?
I mean, obviously, due to the physical nature of what it is we do, there's that. There's picking up something heavy and hurting yourself, or having someone drop. I personally have not gotten hurt lifting. I have had clients throw medicine balls accidentally at my nuts.
What about clients throwing medicine balls at their own faces?
That happens too. I won't mention any names or indicate perhaps individuals who may have done this.
You guys, it was a really bad day.
But sometimes people throw medicine balls at the
threw
floor and
my
don't
list.
realize that they bounce, and then you can get their face knocked off by the medicine ball. I'm not going to indicate who that might
It's
be.
okay. It's okay. I've done better things training than that. So it's cool. How do you deal with insurance?
I have a good insurance guy. I mean, and it's not that expensive in what I do because I don't have employees. I only have the 2 base interns, and they're covered within the 5-person policy that I have. So it's not that big. It's actually not that complex for my industry specifically. But again, that to me goes back to the kind of thing like, sure, you can inform yourself all you want, but the same way that I would tell somebody who wants to go online and research how to work out that it's not the same thing as having a trainer.
Right.
I can research insurance all I want. John does a better job than I do.
Yeah.
Period. End of story.
Fair.
All right.
You're up.
Spin. We haven't gotten to my favorite yet.
Yeah, that was it. Oh.
Oh, you get to choose. There you go. Liz chose.
All right,
Yeah.
the one I don't want. And since somebody's complaining that I'm not scooping enough,
Oh,
there.
you did it on this one?
Oh, that was a poor choice.
Do you want to redo? No, I'm serious. Like, put it.
No, I'll be fine.
Okay.
Take it. Just look. You don't get to pitch at me and be like,
I'm going with you. I'm going with you.
oh.
I'm going light on this one.
I don't blame you. It smells like death.
It is
All right,
death.
let's go.
This is the death one.
So it tastes smoky. Oh,
It
it,
actually-
burns. I don't like it.
This is where you just swallow
Like
fast.
the smell. Yeah, the smell is nice, and I will end up drinking milk on this one. Oh yeah, that's incredibly uncomfortable.
Incredibly.
And the worst part is it doesn't taste good either.
I feel like a pterodactyl.
Oh, it's so bad.
Oh my gosh.
Oh wow.
Avocado me.
Here.
Really, really harsh.
Uh-huh.
Do not like that one.
No. No one likes that one.
It's so bad. I only took a little bit too.
Yeah, I took a big whiff of it. It was not a good call.
I told you. I went with you though.
Yeah,
Solidarity,
well.
man.
Well, you set me up for it too.
But I
Yeah.
let you. I told you you could redo that thought.
It's a bad one.
Oh, that one burns.
Okay. I know, because I know that this is something that you can give good advice on.
Yes.
Can you talk about what people should do if they are in primarily cash businesses and they want to get a mortgage?
Ooh. Keep good paper trail of what you do, and find a good cosigner.
Trying to
That's
do what?
awful. Cosigner.
Good cosigner. Oh, this one's so.
I did not like that. I would like to go on record now officially as saying I did not like that.
Sorry guys. This is gross.
It makes me so sad.
I told you I'd make you cry today.
That's better.
Okay.
Milk and water.
All right. Let's go.
Ooh, don't touch your teeth. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Bad call. Yeah.
No
Fuck
teeth
it.
touchies.
Just hold the milk in your mouth. It helps.
Yeah. Let's just get. Whoo. Okay. This is another doozy. I can tell.
Why do they always go back to back? Always back to back.
Oh my god, on my lip.
Evil. Absolute
I
evil.
inhaled that one.
Absolute evil.
Just blocking it out.
Oh, tissue plate. I'm gonna blow my nose. Oh.
Okay.
Adding tissues to the roulette.
Oh.
Nate, what is your favorite thing about your company?
But my company or my job?
Both. Let's go with both. I'm gonna avocado myself while we're doing this.
Well, my favorite thing about my company, I mean, if I'm gonna be really selfish, and say that I have absolute complete power to pick my own clientele.
That's key.
Well, it is, because having worked in the corporate sector, a lot of the times you're really, really bound to take who they put you with. Or it's a friend of the boss's daughter, or something like that. And while there are certain relationships that occur occasionally like that in this type of thing as well, being cogent is really difficult.
I have a blister where it touched my lip.
It's a little red.
It's, yeah,
It's a little red.
People are gonna think I've heard of
the ability to choose my clientele is a big deal, but also just having no restrictions on. I remember working for one corporate entity early on in my career, and they wouldn't allow you to give this kind of advice. They wouldn't allow you to give this kind of advice. It didn't matter whether or not you knew it was the best thing for them.
It's getting really hot in here.
You could not do it, and I have complete autonomy to do anything I want. And
I do what I want.
that's exactly right. Is that a fair answer?
That's a fair answer.
Okay. Moving right along. Perfect. We can call that cheating in Vegas.
I saw something. Alright.
That one wasn't too bad.
Nope.
Alright, Nate. What kind of corporate wellness programs do you offer?
After trying a couple things out, I went with the tier-based system, where I do bi-weekly, weekly, and multiple times a week. I do in-house and in-gym support. A friend of mine, well, friend D, her dental company might actually hire me to go in and give them wellness tips specifically because it's a dental company. So they're bent over all day long. Specific things they can do in between stretches and movements so that they don't get sore backs and shoulders in the work period. Which is really cool because that's precisely what I specialize in, corrective exercise. But I also do things like, as you're familiar with, the in-office workouts, the specific things of helping work, like being hunched over the keyboard and working on little tiny stretches and making a point of taking the time out to, do those things and make sure that it becomes a priority for a company, where it's really easy to get caught up in the. Boy, the synonyms are just not jumping to my head today. But when you get stuck with a lot of work, that you take the time to take care of you.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's fair.
In full disclosure, Nate is actually the corporate wellness sponsor of Higher Up. We do Level Up.
Yep.
Excuse me, wellness.
In gym and in office.
Yep, and they're great clients.
Oh, that's because we're nerds.
Yeah.
Yes.
Man, it's really because we're nerds.
All
I'm
right.
almost human again. I feel almost human.
Yeah, that last one actually helped balance out the other. That's going to be a bastard. Let's skip that for now. Although I don't think these two look much friendlier.
Double up.
Yeah,
No,
right.
I'm kidding. Don't do it.
I don't think it would.
Poor advice.
I don't think
Bad idea.
Oh,
I'm full of bad ideas.
it just keeps burning.
I don't feel like I'm doing too bad yet. What?
Okay.
Oh.
What is your best advice, Nate, for new entrepreneurs?
Find a mentor.
Okay. Can you expand on that a little?
Mm-hmm. I could.
Are you physically capable?
Yes.
I don't know if I am.
Some of my best friends' advice, I actually went through a seed spot course and had a great mentor. We still have some contact, but he's a busy man. It helped give me a new inspiration to approach the business in a different way after having to restructure things back in 2015. And I found that incredibly useful. But also, just having somebody, it doesn't mean that they have to guide you and hold your hand every step of the way. It's having someone who you respect as a business person, an entrepreneur, who listens to you and then gives you good feedback or pushback and just makes you examine something from an angle that you wouldn't do on your own.
All right.
Yeah.
Very good.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think the salt on the chips is making my tongue burn more.
I think it's the hot sauce that's making my tongue burn.
Actually, I'm doing pretty solid right now. Now that we got that ridiculous one out of the system, I'm doing okay. That one was pretty brutal.
I promise
And
it's still in your system.
It's. Oh boy. Is that enough for you?
Uh-huh.
It's burning a hole in the table. Just wanted to say that.
Ew, I got a hair.
Not hair.
I don't think it's a hair.
What is it?
Not hair?
Aquaman's hair.
I'm not eating that.
That one wasn't bad.
No,
That's not bad at all. That
But-
was good.
I think there's also a scale though that once you dance with the devil in the pale moonlight, his little brother's not so bad.
Yeah.
No, I
So, I have a question
just like spinning.
for you. Okay, spin.
Go.
How would you propose to scale a business as a solopreneur, so to speak, where everything relies on your knowledge?
It's extremely difficult. It's exactly what I'm struggling with right now. I would say that the most difficult thing, let's say, as are many young entrepreneurs, I imagine, extremely talented, gifted, and passionate about what they're doing, right? Finding and sustaining that passion, because the most difficult thing is there's a limited talent pool. I mean, like, I forget the precise numbers right now, but somebody wanted to point out that the NBA is one of the most exclusive clubs in the world, with the fewest and most elite athletes and what it is they do anywhere. Soccer, by comparison, has, because there's more teams worldwide, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Professional opportunities are slim in certain fields. And depending on your field, you may or may not be able to find a very, very willing talent pool to listen to you, join you, follow your path, and then expand it and make it their own, but still stay with you. Still stay with you being the tricky part there. I've had 3 trainers who I've trained who've done extremely well opening up their own gyms. But the problem is quite often that very soon after that they've learned your techniques, they've learned what you do, they've learned your philosophy, they have that fierce desire, just like I did, to go out and do it on your own. So even with the best initiative programs, the most difficult thing is to replicate yourself without making that person feel trapped within those confines, that they can feel like they can have their own business within your business. And that's something I'm working on with right now. I have a very promising intern at the moment who I'm really trying to get at least for 2 days a week to do some stuff with me, and a colleague of mine who I want to bring into the corporate wellness field. She's really, could be really amazing. So, yeah, that's the hard part. Yeah, fair. Excellent.
All right.
That was a lot of words.
Hey, I'm trying to give us a little bit of a break here between posts. I'm trying to think, how many
appreciate it.
5-syllable words do you know? Let's just get this one over with.
Okay.
Because I can tell right now.
A 5-syllable word could be.
There is that.
All right.
You like mixing it, stirring it all up for us, making sure we get the hot.
So she
like
was
so
criticizing me earlier. You're not putting enough on there.
I criticize everyone. Oh, that doesn't fit in my mouth.
That's almost kind of fruity. It has almost kind of a fruity quality. I think that the only one that was really brutal is that one from before.
Okay, Nate.
I've enjoyed myself so far.
Tell us your best client questions and stories.
Best or worst?
Funniest.
Funniest.
The funniest thing a client ever said to me was, I think I feel my, what did she say? I think I feel my butt in my glute.
Nice.
Lisa did. Wow. And I didn't say anything. I just Googled gluteus maximus and showed it to her. She had a good sense of humor, so we were fine. But there's a lot of repetitive questions. I mean, this is true, I think, for probably any industry. I was just talking to Diaz last night, that in dentistry it's the exact same thing. It's always the same problems you confront with. People always ask me, is fat bad or carbs bad? I mean, and even after they know the answer, it's a repetitive process to remind yourself. It's not that fat's bad, protein's good, or carbs are bad, or this and back and forth. It's how you balance it, how it works for you, and what you're able to stick to, and how you're going to feel healthy and reach the goals it is that you've set for yourself. And those questions, it's never the question that is good or bad. It's the time of day you receive the question, and the specific wording. So the things that always throw me for a loop is, well, I don't want to look like a man. I said, well, I would say stop taking those steroids and lifting super heavy weights all the time and eating 4,000 calories a day. I don't do any of those things. Oh, you're gonna be fine. I don't want to be bulky. But they're leaving out the like you. I'm like, hey man, look, it took me 15 years of consistent diet and hard work to get where I'm at. It's not gonna happen by accident, you know. And there, you know, you also have to have a specific genetic and personality aptitude to achieve certain points of things. And there are definite traits that you can find within certain success ratios within fitness. But for the most part, it's about identifying what your personal goals for yourself are and how to get there. And the funny thing is the science doesn't vary all that much. There's only a very limited number of variables, and everything else kind of comes down to consistency, discipline. So, yeah.
And no pizza.
Not more than once a week, unless you're like one of the. I got this one guy who just really drives me nuts in the gym. One of the fighters we train. If he looks at weights, oh hey man, that biceps just grew. Like seriously, he doesn't lift weights precisely because if he does, he responds that quickly. He puts on weight. Then there are people like me who spend several years trying to put on an extra 5 pounds or trying to build your chest an inch. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but you spend a lot of time focusing on these different things. He has amazing aptitude and great genetics, and it just works really well for him. But that's the thing is, oh, I don't want this to happen. I don't want this to happen. Dude, it doesn't happen overnight. Like, you're going to have indicators real early on. So those questions can get kind of tedious. Yeah, we'll get right to it. But my favorite questions, where I really enjoy myself, is when people want to get down into the science of the movement. Because that's what I really, really enjoy, is the why is this movement the optimal way for a human being to produce force?
I have one final question to go with this.
Should I spin it?
If you want to. I know you like spinning.
I like that it keeps hitting that glass. All right. I suspect this one's not going to be as bad as some of the others.
No. I can see it. I know this one. It's a good one.
I think it smells amazing.
You smell amazing.
Well, that too takes lots of work and effort.
Of course.
And genetics plays a role there too, I'm sure.
Yeah, I bet.
Oh, that's really good.
I know, I like this
one.
That is a good one right there.
It's delicious, limey. If my eyeballs pop out in a second, I'm going to be so upset. No, it's delicious.
We got Nate a full meal out of this.
Yeah, kind of.
You're welcome.
I'm welcome.
So my question is, because I think it's topical to many entrepreneurs, and something that we deal with frequently. How do you deal with a customer's unrealistic expectations?
That's extremely difficult. I had a conversation with a person today. Really nice person. Said, I am 31% body fat, and I wish to do a physique show in March. I'd like to bench press 600 pounds in March, but that's not a realistic time frame for me to achieve that goal. and also probably not a terribly realistic goal for me, period. But most people could theoretically do a physique show. Theoretically. I do not recommend it. It's extremely psychologically taxing, and unless you have the ability to do it full time and don't have a job that requires you to be nice to people, or you're one of those people that can just live off a super restrictive, again, it all comes down to whether or not you can do it. And most people just can't do it. And if you can't chew your chicken,
Yeah.
which sounds like a really awful euphemism.
That does sound like a really
But
awful
no, I
euphemism.
actually mean chewing chicken. It takes a lot of chewing.
I'm sorry, I'm enjoying myself.
So
You should enjoy yourself.
let's say though, how do you deal with that though?
Well, sometimes I just tell them to walk on. You're not ready. Like, I'm not in this just for the money. It's really, and it's part of the thing that hurts me compared to some other businesses. You're completely aware of it. I don't do the video that says I can solve all your problems. I don't do the trendy little video, but I've got the Hollywood secrets, because none of it's a secret. It's all science. It's all right there. It's all completely documented. And there's really not a whole lot of debate on this, not among true experts. The only people that are creating debates in fitness are the ones trying to sell you something.
So what did you say to the woman today who wanted, to cut that much in?
I was a little bit diplomatic and said, because it was all phone conversations, we haven't met yet. And so I said, the main thing I'd like to do is meet with you first in person. Well, let's get your weights and measurements. Let's talk about your fitness history and your goals and your time frame. And then here's the thing I want you to understand is a lot of physique specialists, which I am not. I have trained people who have become very successful physique athletes. But it's not my specialty by any means. That said, I'm not going to set your goal based on an artificial timeline. We're going to sit down and look at what it is you want to achieve, and I'm going to tell you what I think the realistic time frame for that is. And if you're happy with that, we can work together. And if you're not, I've got some other people I can send you to, but I'm not going to grind you into dust to force you into that goal at the cost of your health. I'll lose. I would much rather you not be my client and me not be responsible to the detriment of your health.
Maybe that's what we should talk about.
That's what we should talk clients.
I want to be detrimental to your financial health. So
Yeah.
move on.
Yeah. But as an entrepreneur, it is hard to say no.
Yeah.
I find
So.
it was at the beginning. And to be fair, I said no so many times now that it's important. I think, here we go. This is relatively, I think, important to an entrepreneur. Know the kind of clients you want. You're a small business. You're not Walmart. You're not trying to sell to everybody who just needs to jump in real quick and buy cherry, lemon, vanilla Coke and a Daredevil t-shirt so he can have something for the opening night in the movie theater with a bag of giant M&Ms you want to sneak in with you. If that's who you're aiming for, then open Walmart, or in the fitness world that would be Anytime Fitness, right? Know exactly who it is you want to help and affect. And that might be a slightly broader group, but it's still going to have its confines. So if you can't put that together, if you can't say, this is who I want to train, this is who I want to help, and this is who I clearly don't want to work with, because those clients will drive you crazy. They will suck at your soul. And it's not that they're bad, it's you're not the right one to help them.
Do you have a soul? Okay.
Debatable.
Debatable.
No, Melissa has a soul.
Sometimes.
We found it.
It was crushed.
It was crushed this week. We found it though. We found it in hot
It's coming
sauce.
back.
Your soul is back. Anyways, thank you. That was really important to identify your target market and make sure you're focusing very heavily on that.
I think you said that better than I did.
It tends to happen. Nate, thanks for being on our show. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you for feeding me.
Yeah, so we're excited about all that Level Up's doing and hope that you're growing your corporate business. Is there anybody that you would like to invite to call you or discuss or leave some contact info?
I prefer to work with smaller companies. Ideally about 10 employees. And beyond that, I would say, no, that's it. Any small company really interested in the wellness and well-being of their employees, and try to hit the cap around 10. If you're larger than that, there are other companies that can service you, I think. But
How do they contact you if they want to?
they can get me on Facebook at Level Up Fitness in Scottsdale, Instagram, Nate's Level Up Fitness, and Twitter, which I
LVL Up Fitness. I found it.
LVL Up Fitness.
And we'll leave his email in the notes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks so much for tuning in.